If you're a South African taxpayer, you're definitely going to love this. I'll be sharing 4 of the best individual tax deductions that could save you tons of money, and I'll also add in some examples and tips on how to maximize your deductions. So, let's get started. First up, we have contributions to a retirement annuity fund, pension fund, or provident fund. This is not just a good way to plan for your future, but it's also a great way to lower your taxable income. For example, let's say you earn 500,000 annually and you contribute 50,000 to a retirement annuity. Your taxable income will then be reduced by that 50,000 rand. It's important to remember that the deduction is capped at the lower of 27.5% of your taxable income, or 350,000 rand per tax year. This means that if you contributed up to the maximum of 27.5% of your taxable income, and this amount exceeded 350,000 rand, then your contribution will be limited to 350,000 rand, and the rest will be carried over to the next year of assessment. In South Africa, there's also been the two-pot retirement system that's been implemented in 2024. And in terms of flexibility when accessing funds, there is also something that you might want to consider. However, it's not advised to use your retirement funds before retirement if you can help it, as doing so also has other tax implications. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video explaining the two-pot retirement system. So, did you know that you could also claim tax credits if you contributed to a medical aid scheme? And you absolutely can. For example, in the 2025 tax year, the credit is 364 Rand per month for the first 2 beneficiaries and 246 Rand per month for each additional beneficiary. If you're covering a family of 4, that's a significant tax saving. Let's take Lindiwe for example. She supports her parents by paying for the medical aid scheme, and in turn, she then claims the tax credit for herself, the spouse, and both parents, reducing the tax bill by thousands of rands each year. On top of that, did you also know that you can claim out-of-pocket medical expenses that's not covered by your medical aid? For example, if you incur high costs for chronic medication or disability-related expenses, you may qualify for this deduction. There's a full list of qualifying medical expenses on SARS's website, which includes the percentages for different categories such as a person who is 65 years of age or older, a person, spouse or child with a disability, and also persons who do not qualify for the previous 2 categories. My main tip when claiming for these expenses would be to keep all your receipts and statements as proof so that you can streamline the claiming process. Working remotely can also provide some great tax benefits. If you work from home or at least 50% of your work year and have a dedicated office space, you can claim a portion of your rent, electricity and internet costs. This deduction is however notoriously difficult to claim and can sometimes avoid the benefit due to the criteria that needs to be met. Some of these criteria include the following: whether you are employed by an employer and required to work from home, whether you are mainly a commission earner and earn other variable income, whether you spend half of your work hours working from home, and if that's the case, then your employer will need to provide you with a letter to give to SARS, whether there is a separate room of your home which is exclusively devoted to work purposes, and it's important to note that no other room would be allowed for this. SARS will not allow the deduction if you work from your dining room table or a room where you also watch TV, whether you're working from a room which is sometimes used as a spare room, kids playroom, or is used for any other personal reason. Also further, is that room fitted out with the equipment tools used for being able to do work? SARS may ask for photographs of your home office, so make sure it's specifically fitted for your work purposes. So, if you answered yes to the above, then you will need to add up all the allowed amounts, then multiply them by the portion of your house that is contained by your demarcated, dedicated home office. For example, John, who is a graphic designer and works fully remotely, claims 20% of his household expenses because his office makes up 20% of his home by floor area. John has rates of 4,000, electricity of 3,000 and internet costs of 3,000 Rand, which brings his total cost to 10,000 Rand. His house is 100 square meters and his office is 20 square meters. The portion that John is then able to claim is that 10,000 Rand times the 20 over 100, which would give a claimable amount of 2,000 Rand. By taking advantage of these deductions, you can maximize your savings and make your money work smarter for you. Remember, the key is to stay organized, keep your receipts, and consult a tax professional if you're unsure. There's many other deductions that's available to you. So let me know in the comments if you have questions or if there are any other deductions that you would like me to cover.